Hello everybody, the Mindset Barista here, pre-lockdown just about, trying to build this YouTube channel of mine as well. So if you have been liking some of the stuff that I've been putting out recently in the last week or so, please hit subscribe, or if you've been finding it useful. So one of the key videos that I did last week that got so much overwhelming response was the one where I got a little bit emotional, that one. I must say it's been unbelievable to see the responses that's triggered. I wanted to talk about that a little bit because it's a topic that for me is quite interesting, and it's this concept of wearing your heart on your sleeve. So what I could have done with that video when I started to get emotional is to hit stop and to try again, and to hide some of that vulnerability. But that doesn't feel authentic to me, and it doesn't feel right, and actually it wouldn't have had the same impact. And I also want to do these videos very much unrehearsed as well, and very organic, so it would have stifled all of that. But one of the things that I sort of highlighted to myself, I guess, through doing that was that I find it impossible not to show how I feel. And that when I was in corporate life was a real challenge, because people find emotion hard to deal with, particularly in a corporate context. Now, I'm not talking all out blubbering, skriking and screaming. I'm talking about getting a little bit teary or being triggered in some way emotionally, or getting upset and angry about things even. But even in a self-managed context, if you're able to self-manage those emotions, people still find it difficult when you show those emotions. But actually I didn't have a lot of choice in that, because no matter how hard I've tried, and I have tried a lot over the years, I find it impossible to hide my feelings. Even if I don't say what I'm feeling, it's all over my face. And I have no acting ability when it comes to those sorts of things. I wonder how many of you out there are the same, and how many of you struggle in the context that you work in or live in potentially because of that fact. One of the things that I vowed to do when I left corporate life and became a freelancer is to be true to myself. But what I also realised is that for a long time, because I was working with corporate clients, I was still getting those challenges. I was getting frustrated about things that I know weren't right, and that affected me emotionally, and I found that very hard not to communicate, to hide that part of me. What I've done since then, as I've stepped into a role as a full-time coach, is to accept everything I am, to not apologise for it anymore, and to live my full self. And I know that some people will like that and some people won't, and I'm okay with both of those options, because the people I'm meant to connect to, I'll connect to. So I don't, obviously there are limits as to how much emotion you show, or the way you show that, particularly on some networking platform like LinkedIn. So, you'll never see me kind of falling to pieces. And actually, I don't really fall to pieces that often now anyway, because of the sort of self-mastery stuff that I work on. Always a work in progress. But what I'm saying is, let's be okay with being honest about how we feel, but also let's be okay when other people are honest about it too. And there is definitely a level of discomfort around honesty and vulnerability and emotion that we have to try and get our heads around now, because it's important. If we're going to do good things in the world, we're going to make this world a better place, particularly in 2020. If we're going to move on from the situation we're in, we need to be able to make those deep connections, and it's not possible to make those deep connections unless we are inclusive around how we feel about things, and accepting of our own feelings and perspectives and those of others. So I just wanted to kind of touch on that. It's an interesting point to think about. You know, it's how we communicate those things that are important. You know, never apologise for your feelings, but how you modify and manage and communicate those feelings, and what you do with them in order to master the difficult things in life is the stuff that really makes the difference. You know, that old sort of adage, I don't know, of it's good to talk, which those of you who are of my generation or older will know where that comes from, what advertising campaign that came from. Let that be a little quiz for those of you who aren't aware of it. But yeah, so I suppose one of my key drivers at the moment is really getting that conversation going and getting people to be a little bit truer to who they are and more inclusive of who other people are, because I think that really is something that we need right now. So thank you once again for the continued support and responses that have come from my videos last week. So many people have reached out to say, I love what you're doing, your honesty is refreshing, thank you for being so authentic, but also to say, listen, I can help if you want me to. I don't know how I can help, but I just wanted to reach out. You know, so many responses like that, and that to me tells me that this is a thing that is, you know, working for people, in the sense that, you know, we perhaps all want to be a little bit more honest and a little bit more unapologetic about who we are. So wear your heart on your sleeve a little bit more. Try and push yourself out of your comfort zone, because if we understand each other better, we can help each other better. Have a fantastic week. Speak to you soon.